20 seconds.
The At Home Show.
You listen to the show at your own risk, because this is a show that could actually entertain and help you. I know you're tempted to watch another cat video or a recap of whatever the trendy latest reality show is. But here you are, and here you stay. Beyond the edge of reality and into another dimension. This is the At Home Zone. Live from the Green Room Studios, from the spacious property of Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 3810 Whites Creek Pike, it's the At Home Show with Josh Cary and David Bates.
Calm down, calm down. Rod really wasn't here. It's okay.
And it's
want to watch
home,
this spooky
the at-home
stuff.
show anyway, not the At-Home Zone. I mean, but I guess we
Well, it was a different dimension. So it would be the At-Home Zone.
Alternate timeline, as it were. But it's still Saturday morning, which means it is time for the At-Home Show Zone. So we're here for you. I'm Josh Cary.
And I'm David Bates.
Moose is to my left. Tyler's across the way. A cast of thousands will be joining us during the program this morning.
We got Austin, we got Cary coming up, and we'll be talking about all manner of things.
Of stuff. Now, David, it's going to be glorious today. There are no excuses today.
Really, the forecast, every time I refresh it, it continues to improve, so I'm almost afraid.
Just keep clicking, okay? Because we were talking about these 46-degree mornings, and I'm getting a little tired of them.
And I think they're about done.
Good.
And, of course, today is Saturday, the 15th of May. The month is already half over. How did that happen?
Tax day.
77 degrees for a high temperature day and partly cloudy conditions. It will be very nice, not overly breezy, just very comfortable. 58 for the overnight low, which will be that departure from these 40s. I think this is probably the end of it.
Good.
Tomorrow, 79 degrees for the high degrees and some morning clouds, morning sunshine, I should say, and it'll be clouds in the afternoon, and with a little sun peeking here and there. 59 for the overnight low, 80 on Monday, and mostly cloudy. 63 for the overnight low, 81 Tuesday and cloudy. And then the clouds begin to fade away, 84, 85, 86 on Friday. So we're getting into more seasonable temperatures as we move into the second half of May.
That's called grilling weather right there.
That's what that is called. That's what I'm talking
grill
about.
at 15 degrees.
Well, I know you can, but this is more, I want to sit out in my lawn chair with a brewski and grill.
You can do that at 15
You can
degrees.
at 15 degrees. It's not advisable, though.
You don't have to put the beer in the cooler. Think about the possibilities.
If I stay out there too long, you'd have to put me in the cooler. That's the problem.
Okay, well, maybe that's a metaphorical cooler he's speaking of. I'm not sure.
Okay. 615-499-6690. And there's someone at the side door. Sorry,
because somebody
ladies and
didn't
gentlemen.
answer
It is muted. You cannot mute the ring. You cannot.
He cannot manage his devices.
Oh, it's the electrician. Thank goodness. We're getting electrified in the we shed this week.
Well, isn't that special?
It is going to be special.
Now, are there specific things that you have to do in order to be able to get electricity to run out there, other than just burying the cable or stringing it over?
Well, as it comes about, David, there was an archaeological build there back in the day. It was the Kasasu hot tub, if you remember.
Oh,
the open air structure.
So the conduit and the power is existing.
Yes.
Well, that's very handy.
It's very, very handy.
Do you know, since it had a hot tub there, it should be probably at least a 10 gauge wire, a 10-3, a number 6. So you've got...
I can do anything I want to out there.
You can put a 100 amp box out there, and
that's a little bit of an overkill. Yeah. All we need is a fan, maybe a small refrigerator, so you don't have to take the cooler out.
You've got it covered. Then that's excellent. So,
ceiling fan. You can run about. Take the power tools out there and have the power source out there.
You've all this time that you've had the wee shed. You have not had electricity to it, obviously.
Yes, I have, but I've had to do it with the old-fashioned power cord and the plug from the above-ground aluminum pond.
I see. I see. And the rarely used aluminum pond, is that the one you speak of?
The one that's going to be opening this week, maybe, possibly.
Is it just pretty free to look at, or do you actually get in it?
The pool?
Yes.
It's rare that I have to get into the pool.
Okay. I wouldn't be out of the pool.
You were mentioning a boat earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's 2 days. You've heard about these 2 days?
I know the 2 days. My dad already told me that.
Okay. But the boat thing was before we went on the air. So in case you guys missed it, well, I almost did. I just happened to be in earshot.
Okay, but a pool in my mind, and I know it's a scary place because we're in the zone this morning. A pool is there. The happiest days are there for the pool as well. It'll be the second happiest day that I've ever had when that thing finally turns into an outdoor structure of something else. I could build an amphitheater where it is.
At least with a boat, you can connect it to a vehicle and tow it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, David, again, you have an aluminum wall that's around this thing, so it wouldn't take much to bring it down quickly. It can come down quickly. It almost came down last year, almost, but I was forced to rescue it. So
what is the difference? Why the reprieve last year and this year? Perhaps no. It's just been a change of heart. Is it?
No, she likes it.
She likes it being there?
No, she likes the pool.
Does she use the pool?
Occasionally.
Okay, well, that's all it ever has to be is occasionally. Maybe the occasion is the third Tuesday in June, and then
we might have some folks over. Okay, that might get in the pool
for entertainment purposes. It's certainly worth that.
Dogs won't get in the pool.
They won't.
No, don't like it.
I do like a lot of these. I watch some of these wildlife video channels that shows people who have pools that are obviously in a near a woodland area where bears get in there.
Hot tubs too. Yeah.
Yeah. They seem to really like them.
Yeah, if it had beaver, if it had koi in it, my friend, I would be all up about it. I could put some aquatic plant.
You could make it where it had koi in it. Usually they're not in above ground.
David, I got it figured out. Josh is what we call overly cultured, and he needs to bring it down a notch.
That may be I think you may have it pegged completely. Yeah. There.
Overly cultured.
Yeah, I would never have guessed that. But
I don't care if it's an above ground pool. Again, it's a crazy amount of money that these things cost. Folks, if you've got one and you enjoy it, more power to you. I just the pool is just the beginning. Then you have to have the structure around it. Then you have to have the toys. Then you have to have the continuing. You're going to get one of these things one of these days too.
I don't got room for it.
Oh yeah, you do.
No,
you do.
Not without cutting down trees, I don't.
Yeah, what's a tree?
You can put it over there where your neighbors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for his landscaping.
All
righty, 615-499-6690.
Now that's where you can call that number and actually leave us a voicemail.
Send a message.
You can do a
pictures.
text message, and I think we've got we've got a couple there, right?
I don't know which one I'm on.
Which one are you on?
There's a picture up.
You're 3?
You should be on 3. Let me
Dun, 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 dun.
And I apologize in advance. I can't make it like super full size, but you'll.
I don't know if you're even on 3.
You're on 3?
I'm plugged into something.
Try 2. No, that's me. The At Home Show. That's me.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh is broadcasting. Michael, are you in fact plugged in?
Yeah.
He thinks he is. He thinks he is. Well, while we're here, David, we can talk about this just a minute.
Oh, something's popping up.
Oh,
something was doing. Yeah, go back. Go.
No,
there we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So there's the picture. This is what the text says. Bates friends, please help. My peony is suffering, and I don't know why. Maybe such a cool rainy spring. Tried to take photos, not the greatest. Only the middle of the plant is turning black, some kind of fungus. The stems are shriveling up and dying. How can I treat it?
Okay.
Treat it very nicely.
It's a really common problem with peonies, and this is going to make me, we'll keep that up there for a moment. I do have a counter image that needs to be shown that will help illustrate my point a little better here. So pardon me while I stretch here for just a moment. Anyway, but peonies are notoriously bad for doing what you're seeing here, and that is disease, fungus problems.
Oh my.
And a lot of those are a symptom of poor nutrition. If they're not in enough sun, it can be an issue also, but a lot of times it's just really not having very good soil or having sufficient nutrition. Now, I'm going to switch over here back to mine. These are some peonies that my wife has been technical. Come on there we go. All right, so what we've got here is a shot of peony. I don't know if you can kind of tighten in on that one, Tyler. There you go. Thank you. There's one shot, and then there's another single flower, and then there's some other in a group there. And what you see there are very healthy. These were all fertilized naturally, not by using any kind of a chemical fertilizer, but using Earth Mix Supernatural on those last year. And they were struggling the year prior. And this is a good example of just what you can get when you use the organic natural approach to building up the soil. So that was one of the things that you need to be thinking about when you've got plants that are struggling, is getting them enough nutrition to help them out. Was there another
no, this one would be next
image?
Now, David, when you were talking about that, but the Supernatural now would help in a few weeks at the earliest, correct?
Yes, it's not going to make an instantaneous change.
Right.
It really is going to be mostly beneficial for next year because peonies are going to go through their flower cycle. These two, as I said, were struggling last year. This year, they no longer are.
They are doing very well this year, it seems, around Middle Tennessee as well. Another
thing that we have talked about Ito peonies on here quite a bit, and they are a cross between a tree peony and an herbaceous peony, which these are, and which were the photograph that you showed earlier. And they are notoriously bad about needing to be staked or have a grow-through support system to keep them upright. But these are not staked at all. They're very thick and full, out in enough sun, which really makes a big difference also. So what's you got another image?
We got a second text.
Okay, if you have images.
There's an image, okay. It's pulled up, ready to go.
And then we'll go back to where you are.
All right. Says, hi. We got this red bud a few weeks ago, and it hasn't gotten any leaves at the top. Oddly, one leaf branch is higher up the trunk than a non-leaf branch. Any ideas what we can do besides that? It's leafed out really well.
It's a red bud.
Yeah, it is a red bud, and it would appear that the top is dead in that.
Yep.
And now for trees that have a central leader, that have a terminal growth leader in the very top of it, that could be problematic. Now for a red bud, I would just simply prune it out.
It'll come back,
and it'll branch out right above it. Actually, will make it to be a much nicer, thicker, fuller tree. So it's not going to be an issue for that one. Just prune it back down to where your uppermost living branches are, or scratch with your thumbnail down till you find green and prune it to that point.
Do you have to use your thumb?
It's a little easier because if you use a pocket knife or something, you tend to scratch a little.
You can use any finger.
You could use any finger, but the thumb works better because you can grab it around it, just that kind of thing. So anyway, those will be the things that'll help you. Again, you can reach out and message us here on the At Home Show, 615-499-6690, and that will.
Good fertilization on those two is a good thing to do, because I tell you, they in full sun. It looks like it's in the perfect spot. Just give it a to the babies.
It just needs a little bit of time. And quickly, what we'll do here before we go to Austin, we want to talk about I'm already mentioned it using Earth Mix Supernatural, and we're really big on trying to grow things, and we feel like you get the best results when you use an organic approach. That's what you get when you use Earth Mix garden products, where success begins at the ground level.
It does.
And by incorporating the right nutritional supplements that come through those amendments into your soil, you're going to get a lot better performance out of your plants. You're going to get plants that don't just hang on and live, they really thrive and do their very best. And that's the way we do it at Earth Mix Garden Products. And by the way, I'm going to be featured on a segment with Jamie Dury here on HGTV here in a few weeks, whenever the next season of the Extreme Home Makeover comes out. And we're going to be talking about Earth Mix Garden Products on that. So looking forward to that. We shoot that Monday morning. But what we're going to be talking about is Supernatural, which is kind of the basis of the whole Earth Mix Garden lineup. Many of the products downstream from Supernatural contain Supernatural compost in there. So it's a very superior product. It is an excellent input, not only in Earth Mix Landscape and also in Earth Mix Proganics O. So you can find that product as a component part of several products down the line. Remember that all Earth Mix products are 100% organic, sustainably produced right here in Nashville, Tennessee. And if you want to find Earth Mix, it's available all over Middle Tennessee, Kentucky. Click on the Find Earth Mix tab at earthmix.net, and you'll see all the pins come up on the map. It shows you everywhere in Tennessee, Kentucky, even up in Indiana and Ohio. So check all those out at earthmix.net. And, of course, remember, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products. And we appreciate your attention from just a moment there. And we're going to take a break here and go to the Lowen Report.
It's time for the Lowen Report on the At Home Show.
Good morning, Austin.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, we're not getting any audio out of you there, so
He's unmuted.
Okay, hold on.
hang on.
Look at Tyler. Look, immediately pointed me.
Yeah.
Well, I told him to mute
Thing
me
might
earlier.
be loaded.
Is he unmuted
Try
where
that.
he is? There he is. I got him.
Tweet.
How we doing?
Yeah, you
now
go.
we're good.
Now we can hear you. And welcome in this morning, Austin. And what you got going on today? It's going to be a beautiful day. There's no reason not to get out and dig in the dirt and really add to your garden. And the birds are singing and happy. We've got the martins right there that are happily singing today. They are quite
They're
talkative.
kinda loud.
They're
Yeah,
very
they are.
talkative.
I got the sunshine really bright on me this morning too, so that's a good thing. Temperature was chilly this morning actually, but it's warmed up. I'm already out of my hoodie, so we're gearing up for a nice day. Today on the Lowen Report, I guess I've got a couple topics. The first one being flowering perennials, sun-loving perennials mainly. We are loaded to the brim right now with flowering perennials for the sunshine. Now, I could put a little grouping together behind me back here on display. The girls down here do a great job of getting all these flowering things on a table looking nice together. So we've got some for you. Got some low-growing dianthus right down here. Y'all see that? The kind of bluish foliage that's blooming. It's a really nice little low ground cover that's just kind of slowly spreads through the garden as the years go on. And it's really reliable. A lot of times they're reblooming. They'll bloom in the spring, and then when weather permits in the fall, they'll rebloom for you. So if you're trying to do a front border or you got a front row out in front of other shrubs, good little perennial to use within that dianthus. I featured two working down here, the yellow. That's Coreopsis right there. That's a common name is tick seed. That's kind of a mid-sized little perennial. It's not super small, but it's not super tall either. But just look at the flower power on it. I mean, the blooms are so tight together that it just creates this huge show. And yellow shows up, I think, one of the best in the garden. So using Coreopsis for that mid-sized area would be a good one for you. But as you can see behind me here, y'all can get that on all these tables. I mean, my God, look at all the perennials we've got for the sun. So now a lot of them are showing green right now, but don't let that fool you. Here in the next week or two, they're going to be busting into bloom. So good time to get them out.
Absolutely. Yep. What else you got there?
Well, I was going to show this probably top 3 favorite perennial for me, and that's my Perennial Hibiscus right here. This right here. Look at this lovely dark foliage.
We lost some sound. There he is.
every year for you from the dirt. It doesn't come back from the stems at all. You're going to see more stems every year come up from the ground. And then in summertime, this thing blooms this beautiful true red that's literally about as big as your head. It's like a dinner plate size bloom.
Oh my goodness.
They bloom every day, they fall off at night, and then they rebloom the next day. So this plant is really, really something. I think you'd love it in the garden.
That is most excellent. Now, of course, a lot of people are interested about adding to their perennial gardens, and to be sure, most gardens incorporate elements of both annuals and perennials. That way, you have some things that come back year after year, and you have some things that will continue to flower throughout the season. Perennials, as many of our listeners are familiar with, and some may not realize, tend to bloom in their season and then they don't bloom continuously, but they do come back year after year, where annuals will tend to flower throughout the season, and but they don't come back every year. So that's the difference. It is good to have a mix of both things in your garden bed areas.
Exactly, yeah. All perennials have their own bloom time, and I get that question a lot. I want a perennial that'll bloom all year. Well, it's like, well, that doesn't happen. But where you have holes in the garden around your perennials, where there's little spots, that's the time to put in those annuals that produce that color from start to finish, really. I mean, as long as they're well fed, like you said, on the peonies and all of that, as long as, down low, we're good. You're going to see a nice, happy blooming, plant up top, and that color will just keep on going through the season. And mixed in with your perennials is really a good show.
Okay, let's talk for a minute about some companion plantings. Maybe could be in a more shady spot of your perennial garden area, or
where's that door go?
That door, that is the door, the gate of the gatekeeper right there.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
that that's nobody knows what's on the other side of that door, Josh.
Don't open it. Okay.
We can't.
Okay.
We can't tell you that. So, but we do have some things that you've got there to talk about this morning and show what a tremendous display we have of Japanese maples.
Of course. Let me move over here. All right, so I picked some maples today. These are some pretty common ones that we sell. And I get a lot of people that'll come out and, talk to me and say, I want to get a Japanese maple. And I say, okay, that's great.
Uh-oh. All right. Well, let's see. It's great. That was the final word.
He was messing with he cut himself off there by pushing on the earbud.
Oh,
I believe that's what happened.
Well, Cary said he's got weird ears.
Weird ears.
So it doesn't fit.
Right. If that was something I would have known, I could have put that. Here's the Lowen report. Or that's weird ears is what we'll call it.
Okay, he's connecting back.
Weird ears with Austin Lowen.
We're gonna get him back up here.
Yeah, we got him.
All right.
All right, don't be punching on that ear thing. You'll turn yourself off there.
I'm telling you, man, these earbuds do not stick in my ears. I don't know what is wrong.
Well, it's all good. But anyway, you were telling us about people talking to you about what kind of Japanese maple they should choose.
Yeah, the first kind of questions I ask them is, do you want a weeping style maple that's going to be smaller and stay kind of close to your home, or do you want a full size maple? So after we get that going, see the first, you can kind of see the weeping one right here. This is a weeping green leaf weeper called Ryerson right here, one of my favorites. I actually have one at my house. Great fall color on this, mainly yellow and oranges. So that's a nice one. And then we've got next to it, we've got a red leaf weeper. And you can just kind of see their habit. It's a very, out to down type of habit with the maples. So those are going to be your weepers.
Is that a Mukiyama?
That's actually Crimson Queen.
Crimson Queen?
One of our best sellers, top 3 bestseller, I'd say. It gets fat. I've seen some old specimens that are, the height doesn't change too much on the weeping maples. It's the width, and you can really see some wide ones as they age, and really, really stunning as they get older.
Yeah, if you see one 6 feet tall, it's probably going to be 8 feet wide or more.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty amazing.
So that's a very good foundation. You're going to put that into a featured spot.
A wonderful mounding effect.
Okay.
Yeah, right behind a little koi pond or something. I mean, that's just money.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Josh is talking about converting his swimming pool into a
It's a
koi
30-footer, though. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to take a few of those.
It's going to take a little while, but you can get there.
Okay.
yeah, well, you should be able to do a mix then. You could do some upright maples that I've got right here, along with some weeping ones around that pond, and you might have something pretty dramatic. I brought out a couple. This one right here is a red leaf Japanese maple, which is a big one. This is blood good. This is probably our best seller. Right. This one gets very large. You could expect a 20-25 footer, and as time goes on, And it's also really good about the sunlight. It can take full sun pretty much all day long and not burn. It keeps that color really rich through the season. If they get a little bit too much shade as the season draws on, they tend to want to green up just a little bit, and it's kind of an off red. So the more sun you give Bloodgood, the more rich color you're going to get. And then another one, that I've picked is a green leaf upright, which is another one that gets big. This one's called Cary. One of my favorites. It's got a little cut leaf, so it's a little bit daintier. Prefers a little bit afternoon sun protection. Doesn't like to be out there in it just all day long. But this is another big growing Japanese maple, and I love this one because of the fall color. It's truly, truly stunning red.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. It's one of the best reds there is. I mean, it is really, really bright. So another thing we need to consider with maples is that fall color. So with the red ones, they come out brilliant red, and they stay red through the season. And then in the fall, they change and brighten up just a little bit, but not all that much. The real color change is going to be with the green leaf maples, where you can see anywhere from, all the yellows into the oranges, into the reds, and a blend of all of that, depending on the season. So I'm a fan of the green leaf maples myself because I love to see that color change.
Yeah, there's one called Orangiola that is a tremendous fall color, and it is it's one of my favorites. It has a very stunning, truly burnt orange color, so it's stunning.
It is, and the new growth on that one too. It's not fall color is excellent, but new growth is awesome as well. That's a weeping style maple as well. So good to put that into a bed and then build around it with some other cool plants, maybe some flowering perennials.
Give us a little pan shot there around of the selection that we have on up the way there, Austin, because people might not think, well, they've got 4 or 5 maples. Actually, we've got a bunch.
Wow.
We've got 4 sections full of Japanese maples, and they'll assure that you're going to be able to find something, whether it's a big boxed specimen or something small that you're going to perhaps put in a little very enclosed spot. We've got them all sizes for all different growth habits, so make sure you check that out and give Austin or any one of our landscape professionals here a shout, and we'll be glad to help you select a maple that will do for the exact spot you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any final thoughts, Austin?
Oh, final thoughts. Let's just get out here and get some. I'm ready.
Well, there we go. He's ready. He was. All right, Austin. Well, thank you for being on today. And so look up Austin if you're out at Bates Nursery today, and give him a shout, or any of our great landscape professionals. And we appreciate you coming on this morning and giving us a hard-hitting, impactful Lowen report
with Austin.
There we go.
You're mixing the spots. That's Austin's other gig.
Oh, okay.
It's worth a grow. So you ought to check that
with
out.
Austin.
Yeah.
So you need to leave that to Tyler. With Austin. Yeah.
No
Tyler,
possible
you
way
should probably leave that to Tyler too.
No way. That's about as close to falsetto as I will ever be able to reach.
I can't.
David, can you go to input number dos?
I can, and I'll even do it, Josh.
Okay, because you've got the control.
Yeah, I've got the control.
We talk about how much everybody loves Earth Mix. Now, I have been using Earth Mix since its beginning.
And this is Proganics O right here, the outdoor potting mix, a wonderful mix. And who is the one who likes to open the bag from the middle?
Well, that is a volunteer from the neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yes, we have a family of foxes.
Oh, I see.
In the area. And for some reason or another, they decided that this bag of Proganics O was, I don't know what could it possibly have done to it at 1 o'clock in the morning.
No, I think they probably just wanted to get their nose into that wonderful earthy smell. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Where's that baby? Well, who's that?
That wasn't me.
Was that me?
Where was the baby? Where's the baby? I don't know. Where's the baby? Who's the baby?
No. I told you Sam wanted one of those foxes.
Oh well, yeah. Well, we do have a family. We had 3 kits.
Did you bring pictures of the foxes with you, Josh?
I may have be able to find. They're not great quality because I was shooting them through a window. The
one that was sitting in the bed right by the pool there was very nice. That was a very comfortable. I mean, just with his paws crossed, just kind of taking everything
chilling.
in.
Now what he was doing, folks, is he was sitting beside the bird bath.
Gotcha.
He wasn't just being cool, man.
He was waiting for a candidate.
Snack. Okay. So, but we will see if we can come into it. But that is proof positive that is what we like to do with Proganics O or I. Now, this is the results of what you get. So that's me.
A big building. Wow.
Isn't that cool? No, that's in Austin, Texas, by the way.
Radishes.
Radishes, folks.
So those, obviously, you grew those this year.
From seed, actually, just started.
Wonderful.
Them
Those are most beautiful.
And let's see if we can get it bigger. But our friend, another earth mix user, Bill Hayes.
Yes,
he's got his broccoli rocking.
See that, boy? That is beautiful.
And he is doing very, very well. So,
and the thing about when you use organics and when you use things that are naturally high in mycorrhizal fungi and humic acid, those are things that give your plants the natural ability to utilize the nutritional sources that are already there, both from.
And I did use the above ground garden. I did top dress with Supernatural this year.
It makes a huge difference.
Amazing
on your production.
How much difference. And we do have we have a question there too from Andy Strode self. Is there a right way or a wrong way to trim my Nandinis? I have about 30 of them to the front bed, and usually just an electric trimmer on them makes them smaller.
You can't really mess a Nandina up.
Now,
you just if they are domestic Nandina, the one that you will find most commonly occurring, they are pretty voracious growers. You may need to really cut them severely. For my purposes, and for future reference, I would do that early in the season, say mid-March, a couple of months ago. Cut them back as hard as you want to, and when they flush back out, they're going to be awesome.
Now, are they getting a little bit of a bad reputation, some of the Nandinas that are out there now?
Well, particularly the domestic Nandina, they are. Many people have enjoyed them as a producer of berries, but the downside to those berries,
all we need is a mirror, and then you could be going and going.
The downside to those berries are that they are fertile, and because of that, the berries will produce new plants, and the birds can scatter them to the four corners. So they do have some problems with respect to it could become invasive if you don't keep them in check. So.
Right.
So a lot of the newer types of Nandinas are not really berry producers. They just have nice foliage, so they're not going to be as likely to be able to spread those seed that the birds will pick and eat and redeposit, complete with fertilizer package.
It runs through the cycle?
Okay. It goes straight from the end of the alimentary canal.
615-499-6690.
That it's an aviary alimentary canal, I should say.
AAV? AAC. Okay. Yeah. All right, 615-499-6690. But yes, the little creatures are out and about. So if you've got problems with that, because they like to dig, because it's kind of like a cross between a cat and a dog. I mean, the way that they.
I did watch a very interesting program on. I don't think it was Nature a few years ago, where this Russian scientist captured these wild foxes, and he selectively picked the ones that were more docile. And yours seemed to be a good example of some that are more docile.
Yeah, that's that squirrel about
and he bred those together, and it only took about 3 generations for them to not even look like foxes anymore. They just acted and looked like a dog. I mean, it's amazing how different they look just by breeding them. And they were only bred with other foxes, but they were bred with other foxes with similar traits, so that they became just a regular old dog quickly. So
but they have the strangest and most eerie call
they do
in the middle of the night.
Yes, it is. You don't want to,
especially when one loses his mama walking around the neighborhood.
I think that's why you don't like watching horror films, Josh, because you hear that.
I don't do spooky, man.
I know you don't do spooky. I mean, he lives with spooky. I'm talking up here, folks. So he can't. He doesn't need to have any more introduced into the system.
Never been no Outer Limits, Bugs with Faces. It's been done, man. That's a kid thing.
Can't do it.
Nope.
Can't do it. The Fly can't go there.
Ooh,
Half human. No. Even the Mummy. You can't go Mummy.
Help me. No, no, can't do it.
615-499-6690.
Michael has something.
That's not me, by the way.
Okay.
No, what I was saying, going back, he was showing you those radishes. I should have taken a picture of it, but I didn't think about it. Using the earth mix stuff, I've got a zucchini that's about this long now.
Braggart.
And I've got like 4 or 5 coming in right behind it.
All right, now you do know with zucchini, bigger's not better. You need to be cutting zucchinis while they're small.
Yeah, we've picked that one already. The other ones are only like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, once they start coming, you really should pick them when they're quite young. Matter of fact, they're wonderful. Just
6
raw.
inches long.
Oh man, they're wonderful. But if you let them go, we have had some friends who brought us some what they deemed to be prize-winning zucchinis that were weapons, is what they were. Because you can't eat those things. No. Oh yeah, they are weaponized fruit. So anyway, give us a call, 615-499-6690. Leave us a voicemail or a text message. And I think it's about time for somebody to tell us what's going on in the plants and tell us what it's all about. How about a plant rant with Cary Gant?
Sometimes she just needs to vent a little. It's Plant Rants with Cary Gant.
And good morning, Cary.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Doing great. Glad to have you in this morning, and always glad to see your smiling face on the show.
So happy to be here.
It hasn't been an hour ago that you weren't smiling so much because you weren't awake.
Wasn't quite awake yet. Yep.
So it's good to see that you are now completely present.
I am finished my coffee. I'm ready to go. Got
All
some
right.
plants in here sitting amongst all this foliage.
You
if
got
you can see this.
You got a lot going on there, and one of the things that we talked about earlier in the week that you expressed some concerns that people are confused a little bit on what kind of palms they need to use outdoor around the pool, or what would be something they would use exclusively in the house. And it is important to make sure people understand the differences in what they're trying to choose.
There are a lot of differences with palms, and it's, like you said, very concerning to me. I'll see some people.
She stays awake at night worrying about that.
That's why I was so tired this morning. I was thinking about all the palms that people have bought to put by their pools that just aren't going to do well.
And why would they not do well?
A lot of them can't tolerate direct sunlight. So this bamboo palm that I have to my right, I've had a couple people come in. They liked how it looked, and they were like, I think it would be a great screen by my pool. It would look cool, but it's going to last like a week before the leaves start to fry, and it's just not going to flourish in that spot. This one is a pretty low light palm. So if you can see this giant one right here that I have beside me. Yeah?
Right.
Bamboo
got it.
palm.
I've got it at the ceiling.
Yep.
You have it all the way up. Wow,
Yes,
I didn't know I had
yeah.
that wide of a shot. So this is a lower light palm. It looks great. It would be great on your front porch if you have a screened-in porch, or just a house plant to
He's
keep
over on
inside.
Even the
cameras.
outdoor structures with the curtains that are around them these days would be a perfect
It
spot.
that would be lovely.
He's on camera 3 over there, Cary. I don't know if you knew that or not. He has the third camera shot that he was highlighting the palm. But
he's
point,
so high tech.
but the point you were making is while these low light palms are great as indoor palms near a window that gets nice sunny conditions, or at least fairly
Indirect light.
bright light, indirect light, they will sun scald if they're out in direct sunlight.
Almost immediately, yeah.
And people who have a swimming pool tend to have those pools in the sun, so they're not a good choice. What do you recommend?
Correct. So I brought 2 palms in that we actually have quite a few of here at Bates Nursery right now. This one in front of me, European fan palm.
It's gorgeous.
It is. And actually, fun fact, it will overwinter here in zone 7. So the further south you are, the better it's going to do. So if you're in like Williamson County, Franklin, it is going to have Smyrna a better chance of surviving if you're up north like
It
I
almost
am,
looks like
towards
papyrus to me.
Yeah,
It does.
You got to do some pretty significant mulching around those,
Yeah.
and
You
have a little luck on your hand. But yes, people do winter those over, but every few years, not unusual for them to freeze out. So
Yeah,
just
you'll
don't
probably
think of
lose
it as in terms of an actual hardy plant here. It's not reliably hardy.
Correct. It'll probably do better if you plant it near your house on the south side, so it has that protection from winter winds and all the elements. And now the palm on its right, this Robelini Pygmy date palm, will also do great in full sun. It'll thrive. It'll survive. It'll be lovely. It does like a lot of sun. And one palm that I didn't bring in because we only have the very large sizes that will take up this whole space are the Majesty Palms. Probably the most popular palms that people like to go for. That's what a lot of people want by their pools. That one's not going to do great. It can probably tolerate like maybe 2 to 4 hours of some direct sunlight, but those leaves are going to start burning.
Do sagos do okay here?
Sagos do all right outside, yeah.
And do we have Eureka Palms also in the front? Do we have any of those currently?
No, we don't.
Okay, that's another one that you could use in the sun. If they have been acclimatized for indoor use, you might get some scald on those, but they grow out in the full sun in the tropics.
Yes.
But that's one of those that if you have had it acclimatized for indoor use, you don't want to go straight to the sunshine. Right. Transition it slowly if you're going to try to move that out there. Now, one of the things that we have been really deficient on for much of the spring are ferns. We have had a terrible fern shortage, and that all went away this week because they all came to Bates Nursery.
Big Fern decided to come off of some, huh?
We have got some, I don't know what.
So many ferns.
I don't know why they were holding out on us and why they decided to let us have them this late in the season, but we have them, and if you have not gotten one, you've got some pretty spectacular specimens there on the show.
We do. They did release the ferns. We got lots of Kimberly Queens in. Release those ferns. They are giant. They're magnificent. The one on my left, this one sitting up tall, Kimberly Queen, is actually one of the smallest ones that we got in. We have some that are a lot larger than this.
Yeah, Cary's built a display. When you first come in, it's on a table, and it is a mound of fern. I mean,
fern.
It's at least, I'd say, close to 10 feet tall in the center. I mean,
it was exciting to make. I did have to get in the center of it right before I put the last palm in.
Well, I think you would have done that anyway because that's just the kind of girl she is. She wants to get up on the table and dance.
It's just the best.
The way it is.
Got up on the top of there. So these Kimberly Queens can actually tolerate light better than the macho ferns and the Boston ferns that we have as well. The one thing that you're going to want to watch for if you do have it out in full sun or half a day of sun is you're going to have to water it a lot. The leaves start to turn a lighter color, and that indicates that it needs water, and it'll do that very quickly. Very quickly.
And one thing everyone should be mindful of that they are heavily rooted in the containers they're in. They need to be transplanted immediately, either directly into the ground through the growing season or into a significantly larger container to give them room to grow so you have a chance to keep them watered, because otherwise you're going to be watering them twice a day.
Oh, at least. They're busting out of their pots right now. I'm looking at this one. It's got stuff growing out of the bottom. She's ready to go.
Yep.
So someone come save them. We have about 200.
Yeah. What's the one in front?
All the way around, the macho fern. Wow. That one's my favorite. It has larger leaves. It drapes as it grows out and the leaves get a little longer. It can tolerate a little bit higher light than the Boston fern, but you're going to want to keep this on like a covered porch, screened-in porch.
It doesn't like it like the Kimberly Queens.
Right. Those leaves are going to scorch.
Yep.
And look sad pretty quickly.
And as you look, do you have a Boston down there in front?
Yes, I do. I'd say this is our most popular. They come in a hanging basket. We have a lot of Bostons in. They're going to tolerate the lowest light. And they need a lot of water.
And people, of course, love using those as a hanging basket on a porch or put that in a wire basket and on a pot, any place where they'd be fine with getting morning sun, as long as they're shaded in the from before midday on. They can only handle that lower, cooler light at that time of the day.
Yeah, I have some on my front porch that they get direct morning sun and they're doing great. They've acclimated and they get that nice fresh sunlight in the morning.
So we are rapidly moving in as we have forecast on this program. This is the last morning where we will see a 40 in front of the low temperatures.
You promise?
Probably until October.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to say so because
because low hibiscus can go back outside now tonight.
Anything you've got that you've been curious about? I mean, we've been having to close the doors down on because the heaters run, and it's expensive to try to heat outdoors with a heater. I don't know if you knew that or not, but we've been having to close it.
Pricey.
We've been having to close it down just to try to keep a little heat in the greenhouse areas, and so we're at the stage now where that's not going to be as big of a deal. And if you've got things that you've been a little bit concerned about or a little hesitant to take outside, certainly now you can go ahead and get those on out. Anyone who has been hesitant on planting anything, be it
Anything.
annuals,
Anything.
the garden plants, now is the time. And where that it's been difficult for many to get in a selection of plants that really gives you the diversity where you have a lot to choose from. We've been very fortunate. We do have the secret weapon at Bates Nursery. It's called Julie Patterson, and Julie is the goddess of all things green, and she is
She's connected too, from what I hear.
She is more
Don't
than
give me some
connected.
plants. We're going to connect.
I would put her against anyone in the country. She really is probably, according to our primary supplier, she's one of those half dozen savants in the nation.
She's tough.
She's so tough, and she can remember anything.
She does have a photographic memory. And sometimes that
The pictures are okay.
well, I mean, I don't know, but Julie is amazing, and so she's done a fantastic job of making sure that we have stayed stocked. So the shortages that you may see other places, you're not going to see if you come out here to Bates Nursery. So we hope you'll come see us. What else you got, Cary? Is that
That's
covered?
not it. No, it's not covered. I did want to say I want to rant about one more thing.
Rant
I'm not
away.
done yet. I talk to a lot of people about overwintering their ferns. They come in and they say, "Oh, I had this amazing macho fern last year, and I wanted to keep it, but it just died right away." You have two options for bringing it in. First option, if you have a lot of humidity, maybe you have some houseplants already and you have a humidifier, you can keep it near a window, keep it watered because your house is going to be dry since you have your heat on.
That's always the toughest thing against ferns is that low humidity of heat. That really makes it tough.
It just dries them out. They start shedding. They're going to get all over the place. But if you have that humidity, again, if you have a lot of houseplants, you probably already have a humidifier. Just put it near that humidifier, keep it watered. It'll be happy. You also have the option of letting it go dormant. As long as you keep it above about 55 degrees, you can put it in a garage. Doesn't need a lot of light as long as you water it fairly regularly, clearly not as often as you have to water it in the summer. You don't want it to rot. I'd say like once a week or so. They will go dormant. They might look a little sad, but they're not dead. Once it warms up, you can bring it out, acclimate it, put it in the shade on your front porch, get it a little bit of sun, and it should do all right.
Yeah, try to use some tepid water. If you use like really cold water from outside, yes, it's a little.
You mean like lukewarm?
Yeah, something. Yeah,
like room
Tepid.
temperature.
Well, I in my mind, tepid is below lukewarm. Tepid is just it's about at
It's what?
indoor room temperature.
It's like when you find that cup of coffee you left out for like 2 hours.
I can still
Yeah.
drink it, but it doesn't
Exactly.
taste all that great. So
Yeah.
anyway,
All right.
Well, as always, Cary, we appreciate you being a part of the program and bringing us
Ranting
some
away.
goodness here. Absolutely. 615-499-6690. That's how you get us here on the At Home Show. Reach out, get us a give
Touch
us a
somebody.
question.
You wanted to see a picture of the foxes, David. There's
Okay.
one available. If
Okay.
you wanted to
Are you-
take
are
a
you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. Well, there you go.
Little rascal.
Oh, whose
Yes.
foxes are those?
That's Josh's.
That's the neighborhood foxes. That's the 37167 crew.
They live under the deck.
Actually, they live in the next door, underneath the next door neighbor's shed. But they happen to.
they visit over.
Oh yeah, I mean they love the succulents. Look at it. I mean they're just little rascals.
It's almost like you
Hanging
planted
out.
him there yourself.
Actually, when you first sent me this picture, Josh, it blended in so well. I was going, what? I'm looking at the shrubs going, is he trying to show me something? I go, oh, there's a fox right
Well,
there.
see what he's doing?
Oh, bird bath.
Bird bath.
Oh, he's
waiting
watching.
patiently is what he's doing.
He's so little.
Foxes have got to do what foxes are going to do.
Well, they're
He's one of 3 that we've seen, and then the mama is quite large. So, but they are cute, but they're noisy little rascals in the middle of the night when they lose mama.
Okay, this is barely related. Foxtail ferns. We have an indoor fern care webinar that Cary did that I wanted to
There's
just
a
get out and
fox
say.
palm that my sister has in Florida that is absolutely stunning. She has 3 of them out there in front of her home that are foxtail palms. They're tall, columnar, sitting in the. It's a semi area of level.
One of the things I want to remind everyone about, speaking of all of the plant questions that Cary was referring to, is that Dr. Vanessa will be in today. So
Yes,
now
she
will be here virtually. So that means you come into the greenhouse and you see a laptop computer set up, and you'll see her on screen. She was on here last week, doing the initial announcement of the service we have. It doesn't cost anything. You can just come in and visit, ask her questions about your plants, and I bet if you asked her really nicely, you might be able to get a virtual in-home consult if you have some things you need to show her specifically. So when you're in the greenhouse area, before you get into the checkout area, go down into there and you'll see the little laptop set up, and you'll see her there, and you can talk to her, and maybe you've got a question about a plant that's right there in the greenhouse area that you need to get answered. She'll be glad to deal with that as well. She is a major plant aficionado.
Major.
She is.
Not a captain. She's a major.
She's a major.
Major.
Yes.
I mean major. Cary is a captain, but she's
Captain and
but she's-
major.
No, they're both quite capable.
So
but,
does that make Austin like a warrant officer or what?
he's a chief petty officer.
Chief CPO. Okay.
Yeah.
Very petty. Huh?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I thought you were the petty officer.
You know, dang sailor boy.
and I've never been able to get above buck private. And many years as I've been here, my truancy and my propensity to get into trouble has kept me at just buck private.
No, you're a hired civilian down here on post is what you are. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
615-499-6690. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here for you every Saturday morning. We've been doing this a minute.
We have, and we've been coming up on. We started in '98.
98, yeah.
So we are
Back last century.
So we're sneaking up on 25 years that we have. Now we did it actually before that. We just didn't do it as the at-home show.
Yes.
We did it with our friend and our
Norman
Daniels, our radio mentor, as it were,
and god of gypsum. He was the god of gypsum.
There are pH issues that have been dealt with that are still being dealt with due to gypsum that he sold 25 or 30 years
Truckloads
ago. By the truckload.
Would you guys like a voicemail?
Certainly. See what we got.
Hi, this is Ann S. And I'm wondering what sort of damage do chipmunks do, and how do we get rid of chipmunks?
I can loan you a fox. I've got a few of them. Chipmunks, they're just little squirrels with racing stripes.
I think we had a little feature on the At-Home Show page where someone was talking about chipmunks, and my dear bride Renee Bates says they're easy to capture. All you have to do is open the sliding door and they'll run right in the house.
But
now that's a problem when they get in the house. That is a problem.
Just a little bit.
No, they don't. They're not particularly injurious to things. But folks, I would not use. If there's one thing that you're going to do, the natural effect: cat, small terrier dog, snakes,
or have a heart humane
teeny tiny.
They're very easy to trap.
Do not use the rodenticides outside. Do not do it.
No, because there's a whole lot of other things.
Eat these things.
Well, if owls, for instance, eat rodents, and if an owl happens to eat a rodent that has been ingested poison, it could have a really negative impact on that. You don't want that to happen. We love our birds and all wildlife. Sometimes we don't like them in the place that they happen to be. So watch the use of those kinds of things. And
I wouldn't use them. No, not outside.
No, but the have-a-heart traps, the little small ones for chipmunk size, you can catch one every time you set one until you pretty much get them all.
And then take them to the neighbor's house.
Well, you gotta have a suitable location
for the witness relocation program.
Yes, you got you if you have property, say at a different spot of town, that's your property.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I mean,
I would.
Well, I know you would, Josh, but that's one of the differences we have is that you wouldn't and I wouldn't.
Why wouldn't
He's trying to say you're not a decent person.
No, I'm not. He's at least decent, but
Not very nice.
well, I don't think he's probably ever trapped any. Truth be told, have you ever trapped any wildlife with a have-a-heart trap in your yard ever?
Not successfully.
Oh,
I had a
I've trapped-
squirrel. Remember, I had a
I've tried.
squirrel in the
No,
basement.
I would
I had
tell
a
you-
squirrel in the basement, and they ended up just leaving the door open, and the squirrel left, and I shut the door back.
I have friends who lived in the neighborhood who were avid hunters, and they hunted this whole Whites Creek area for years, and the squirrel population was eliminated. There were no squirrels in Whites Creek at all. So about 10 years ago, there was such an overrun of squirrels at my home in West Nashville.
They were eating the portico, if I remember.
got 30 squirrels in 30 days, 2 times, and about a decade apart. Long story short, squirrels now live in Whites Creek again.
But to answer the question, the chipmunks themselves are not necessarily injurious to a whole lot of the.
No,
they're not like a vole that would go in there and eat your.
They're not, but you might not like them digging in and around. They could do some inadvertent.
I've trapped plenty of moles with an axe handle.
Well, we've used shotguns. We've used
Yeah, I
pitchforks.
Don't know. I don't know if I
tridents.
A shotgun probably most effective with the blunt end. I don't know that. I don't know.
Well, there were, you
Not loaded.
describe how we used to say get rid of a mole, David Bates, and it took what? It took the most critical thing that you had to have when you were
Cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee first
Right.
thing,
And 2 shovels.
2 shovels, yes.
Right.
Yeah, and what did you do? You waited in the morning, and then you.
Well, first of all, the evening before, you have to walk
Yes.
down all of the little ridges where the moles are, and then the next morning
With your cup of coffee.
with your cup of coffee
And
you
2
look,
shovels.
You look to see where there's activity, and you put a shovel beyond one end, and then
Furiously digging out the.
and then you dig out the other one. You get it on top of the ground,
And then you raise that shovel above your head.
and you smite it. You smite
Mightily.
You smite that mole until it's no longer with
Until it's been smoted.
Yeah, until it's been terminally smitten, and then then you're rid of one. That's the problem, and that only gets rid of one. But if you can continue to repeat the process, it will work. It's probably more effective than the spring type traps.
Oh yeah,
There's a scissor type of trap that works pretty well.
that's actually from the same family of
Talprid folk?
family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, what about attempting to kill the grubs in your yard that they're inevitably feeding on?
Well, see, that's a bit. While they will eat grubs, they really are there to eat night crawlers and earthworms. That's what their primary food supply is. So it's a bit of and what you're going to wind up doing if you're eliminating the food supply to rid them. What you're really eliminating are earthworms and night crawlers, and
Which is not a good thing.
which is a very beneficial to your garden. So it may be that you just got to take your time and keep at them, and that's really, if you're dealing with getting rid of moles, it's about persistence.
Now, if you've got a cutworm problem or something, an insect that's eating your grass and your lawn, I mean that's where you would use those. I'm not a real fan of broad-based grub killers myself.
I'm not a fan of really broad-based. We've kind of, I don't say
Stepped
kind
away
of,
from the-
we have backed away from the chemical stuff at home, and we're more tolerant of weeds than we are of the chemicals it takes to get rid of them.
They're wildflowers.
Well, I mean, if you fertilize
Yes.
with an organic fertilizer and keep it mowed, our yard looks really nice. I mean, we've had a wonderful spring. We overseed in the
Clover's
fall,
looking good, yeah.
and so it's a really nice time of year. So if you're into trying to maximize what you have, what Mother Nature gives you, as opposed to trying to make it be a monoculture, which is kind of the approach we've taken, then a fall overseeding will help restore a lot of the grass that may have gotten killed off during the summer. One of the things to be mindful of as we start this transition from
Spring
cool
to summer.
temperatures to warmer temperatures is to raise your lawnmower up to its highest setting. For cool season grasses, the worst thing you can do is to cut it down low, and we've been able to get away with it to this point.
Yard boy doesn't. He watches that. Yard boy does it.
It's very important.
Not all the lawn guys out there. You know, some
it's
guy
very
cutting
important
grass.
if you have a warm season grass like zoysia or Bermuda grass, you can cut it very short, and it's very tolerant of that. But cool season grasses such as fescues or bluegrasses need to be mowed where they stay tall.
Because not all lawn guys are morons. Okay.
No, they're not all morons.
Okay.
No.
Some of them are. So there's some morons out there.
There are morons in all industries.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they tend to move around and spread out quite a bit. So, you don't have to put up with that. Make sure that whoever is cutting your grass, if it's whether
or
it's
cutting your trees down. Did you hear about the guy in California?
No.
Really? The guy with the pickup truck and a chainsaw?
No, I didn't.
Look it up. It's nasty.
Bad?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Bad.
Serial tree killer.
Yeah.
No. He got people.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh.
Well,
Anyhow.
but one of the things, it just goes to show you that professional work is best done by the professionals who are trained in that profession and have the tools that they know how to use.
Don't be a moron.
Don't be a moron.
All righty, folks. Music means we got to get out of here. But thank you for participating in the program this Saturday morning. And we invite you back next Saturday morning.
We're going to be here.
We're going to be here. So
more or less.
Interact during the week, 615-499-6690.
Leave a question.
Go to
Leave us a
YouTube.
voicemail,
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
Like the Facebook page.
You'll
get out
get a
there on
notification.
LinkedIn. Everything else is going on.
That's right.
And we'll be ready for you. Hey, for everybody here at the At Home